Welcome, Manny Collins here for White Rose Crafts. Today we'll be creating this Happy Trails card featuring Lawn Fawn products. Let's go to the products I use. Lawn Fawn's Happy Trails stamp and coordinating dies. This is a cute little stamp set, and we're also going to be bringing in the 6x6 Gotta Have Gingham and the Really Rainbow pads. We're going to use the ombre there and the yellow and a gray from the Gotta Have Gingham. Fossilized Amber, Distress Oxide, Memento, Tuxedo black ink to stamp our images, and VersaFine in Onyx black for our sentiment. I went ahead to save some time. I stamped and colored and die cut all of our images. For the road, I just used those two little stamps there. One is a straight, one is a dash to create it, and then I just fussy cut it out. For our sun, that's where we brought in the Fossilized Amber just to darken the center. Here's our truck, car and trailer, and our trees, the big and the small tree. I did 4 large trees and 2 small trees, and I also added some foam adhesive behind our car and our trailer. I did not fussy cut, I'm sorry. I die cut this pattern paper using a rectangle die, and then I have a 110-pound card base and my sentiment on an acrylic block. And then I also have a scrap of 110-pound card, white card for our sentiment. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and ink up our sentiment using the VersaFine Onyx black ink. And I'm going to stamp it onto this little strip here. Just leaving it a little edge there so I can finish off the end. And I'm leaving it long for now. This VersaFine Onyx black ink takes a few minutes to dry, so I'm going to let it set aside while we build our card. I'm going to go ahead and add here our panel. This panel is like an ombre color, like a rainbow. It starts, and it goes down and has a little diagonal white stripes in it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tear tape on the back of it. And I'm going to then adhere that to our card base. I'm also going to be using some Barely Art glue, and that's just going to be to adhere all of our little images, those that do not have foam adhesive on them. Alright, so I'm going to remove the backing off of our tear tape here, and I'm only going to do a partial removal on the corners here. That'll help with lining everything up so it doesn't stick right away and then I can't move it around, and it just helps a lot in that aspect. Okay, so I'm going to get the other corner, bring in my card base, and then I use the edges that do not have adhesive exposed to hold it in place, so that way I can make sure everything's evened out. Once it is, and I know it is, I can press those 2 corners that the adhesive is exposed and remove the rest of the backing. That way it stays in place for me. Now that we have our card panel down, I'm going to adhere our road. So yes, I did this backwards. So adhere your road first and then your panel. I messed up. So I'm just showing you, you can still fix it. I gently peeled up my my pattern paper here, and then I adhered my road, and then I trimmed off the excess. Normally I adhere and then trim off, and then stick down the panel. But I was moving a little faster. I was a little distracted. There was a couple things happening in the house, and I was trying to get things done rather too quickly, I guess, and I went out of order. But I wanted to leave it in so you can see that, we all make mistakes and it can still be fixable. I'm not going to ditch this card because of a minor mistake. So now I'm going to add a little adhesive back here, press it into place, and all's good. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start bringing in our little images. And we have the sun, the car and its trailer, and all of our little trees. So I'm going to start with our bigger trees, and I'm going to adhere those down using some Barely Art glue, because those are going to go directly onto the backing of the panel here. And then the little trees, I have some foam adhesive on them, so just to give them a little dimension. Now, so that my trees don't look like they're perfectly all lined up, I'm putting some a little lower, a little higher, like not tucking them all the way in. Some I tuck further down so that it looks like they're not an even straight line, just up and down, because trees don't grow in straight lines like that. They grow in different heights. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing off the of the foam adhesive that I have on some little trees, and I'm going to place those on my card here, making some adjustments. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add the next one, and then we can start working on the rest of the card. Now that we have our background set, I can work on our adhering our trailer to our car. So if you look on the trailer, it has like this pin, and that's really like a stand for when you're not towing your trailer. So to tow your trailer, you would remove that pin or that stand. So I just trimmed that off so it wouldn't stick out of my car, the back of my car, and then I just adhere that little edge to the back of the car and put some foam adhesive there to keep a support across. So now I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I want my car and trailer to be, and then I'm going to remove all the backing of this foam adhesive. And let me tell you, this is my least favorite thing in crafting, is removing backing off of foam adhesive. I don't mind. I love the dimension foam adhesive has. I just don't care for moving all those little teeny pieces. Sometimes, you know, it has to be done. Okay, so that's done. So now we're going to go ahead and add our sun. Again, more foam adhesive, removing the backing off of that. And I'm placing it up here in the upper left-hand corner. Now comes our sentiment. I'm going to place it right there, like sticking out from the sun. So I'm going to bring in my tiny trimmer here. And then I'm going to just slice off the edge on that end, and then the back there, so that it could just give me enough to just tuck it underneath the sun there, the sun rays, I should say. And I'm just going to adhere that straight down to my card panel. So my card is as is, no foam adhesive on this one, because if we have enough dimension going on there with the sun and everything else. Right, so now you can call this done if you would like, but I'm going to add some little extras. So I'm going to bring in some American Crafts yellow tiny gems, and some leftover from the Christmas kit gems that I have. I believe those are from Scrapberry, but I'll double check and put it in the description down below. These are all in the shop, so they'll be easy for you to find and purchase from there. So I'll put some 2 gems up by the sentiment, and I'm going with the yellows and some light blue or tealy blue to match our car and trailer. So I have 3 little gems down here by the road and 2 up by the sentiment. And now I would call this card complete. So like always, let's go over our products we used. We Distress Oxide and Fossilized Amber, VersaFine ink and Onyx Black, Tuxedo and Memento and Tuxedo Black. Really Rainbow 6x6 pad. 6x6 pad got a half gingham, and the Happy Trails stamp and coordinating dies from Lawn Fawn. So this month we're spotlighting Lawn Fawn products, as you can tell by my video here. But there's a variety of other wonderful products over at the shop. So I hope you stop by and